Thank you so much for joining me for a Married at First Sight review. Okay, this is episode 13, Tears, Jeers, and 25-cent Martinis. Guys, if you are new here, hit that subscribe button while you're on your way in. Join the family. Join the conversation down here in these comments. Turn that post notification bell on if you want more content like this. And make sure you share with your folks because you know y'all need something to talk about over the holidays, okay? Anyways, thank you so much for joining me. Guys who are subscribed to me, thank you for coming back. I love you. You know I do. And again, you get down in those comments too, okay? Because we have much to talk about, especially after this episode. So let's get started. So this episode, the couples are going to be talking to Pastor Cal and Dr. Pepper separately so that they can actually get their real true feelings out. And I feel like this should have been done a little bit more often than they've actually done, because listen, the fact that there has not been a lot of experts present this season has been terrible. But anyways, so Mirla and Gil. Mirla is going to see Dr. Pepper and Gil is going to see Pastor Cal. Pastor Cal and Gil are speaking. And guys, did y'all pick up on how, like, matter of fact Gil was? He wasn't very like responsive to Mirla, like he wasn't as affectionate and things like that. And I don't know if I like that, because I feel like it's one of those situations where you did a whole lot to butter her up, get her to kind of let her walls down, let her guard down, and now it's kind of like, listen, we need to talk. And it's really not anything that's new under the sun, you know what I'm saying? So I just didn't like his approach. But anyways, so Gil is talking to Pastor Cal, and he's basically asking, you know, how's everything going? Gil is just like, you know, I'm good now that I got my kiss. Like, we're great. And listen, it's none of my business, but I think they did more than kiss him. I'm just saying, I think they've done more than kissing. Like, the way that Mirla is responding to Gil now, it's kind of like, listen, I'm very affectionate and I love romance and all that great stuff, and it makes me all nice and give me butterflies inside. But listen, it's something about when you smash and the smashing is good, that'll make me act like Mirla. So I don't know if a kid's gonna do that, big dog. Like, I don't know. But he says everything's great. Pastor Cal, of course, they are diving deep and he's asking, you know, what's going on. And he doesn't like Mirla's Debbie Downer personality. And okay, that's fair, right? That's fair. He asks, well, you know, does it affect you? And he said, yes, it affects my mood, which is major, because I don't like for something negative to seep into my energy as well, right? Because energy is fluid. So when he says that, I understand. I get, no one wants that. But I definitely understand where Gil is coming from, because energy is fluid. You don't want anybody coming into your space and making you feel their energy when it's negative. So I get that. And again, that's fair. Gil says he feels like in the past people have allowed Mirla to have these tantrums and get away with it. I don't disagree with that as well. I feel like she knows who she can and cannot get over on or get her way with. And, you know, over time, you start to develop a habit. And I feel like this is what she has developed, low key. Okay, so now we have Mirla, and Mirla is lit, okay? Mirla is lit. I like drunk Mirla. She is hilarious. Like, Mirla's a good time. She had those 25-cent martinis, honey, so she is just like Like she is just so giggly and stuff, and I love it because Mirla is normally kind of like a stick in the mud, you know. She's very one tone when she's sober, so we love drunk Mirla. So she meets with Dr. Pepper, and again, very talkative and very giggly. And Dr. Pepper lets her know, like, I know you've been partying, so you're not sober yet. And I was like, oh Lord, Jesus, she about to sober you right on up, Mirla. That's what she's saying. So anyways, so they're talking, and Dr. Pepper basically tells Mirla, like, listen, you are super critical, and that's gonna kill a relationship because you're always criticizing something. And I don't disagree with that because, you know, when they show different clips of Mirla and how critical she is, I was just like, yeah, it's one thing to be decisive and know what you want, know how you want to go about your life, but you're coming into a very unique situation. So you being critical there's no room for that right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no room for it. You have to be a little bit more flexible. Y'all already know how I feel. I don't dislike Mirla anymore, but I feel like Dr. Pepper was right on when she said that. Let's see. So Mirla is, again, I'm glad she's drunk because she's, you know, they say a drunk mind speaks a sober mouth, or a drunk mind speaks a sober mouth. And she's talking about Gil and how he makes her feel, and she gets super emotional. And we don't ever see emotions from Mirla. So she's crying and she's like, he makes me so happy. And you know how you pray for things and you don't think it's ever gonna come true, and then it comes true. And I was like, ugh. God, I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing for these other people. I'm just asking that you do the same for me. Like, I was like, that is such a profound moment for her to be that expressive about how she feels about Gil. And I feel like she needs to do that for him once in a while. So yeah, I like that moment. But you know, then Dr. Pepper had to bring it on around with, listen, you're gonna have to stop being so negative or you are going to drive him away. And of course she understands what he's saying. So the next scene, Gil and Mirla, they are meeting up, and of course she's kind of like dancing around, like kind of like trying to get to her table where Gil is, and she's trying to embrace him, okay? Embrace him publicly. And this is what I meant by, like, I don't like how he's doing her, because he's kind of like, you know, and it's like, no, like, this is what you've been asking for. Matters if she's a little tipsy or not. This is what you've been wanting. Why would you deny her that? So I didn't like that. I was like, okay, Gil, okay. So they sit down and they're talking about, you know, all that they went through in their sessions or whatever. And Gil is talking about her Debbie Downer, you know, behavior. And so they come into an agreement, like, listen, if you get like that, just be more affectionate with me. You know, just give me a hug and that'll help change your demeanor. So great, we can put a button on that, because it wasn't a whole lot of nothing with them. It's Jose and Rachel. Jose is talking to Dr. Pepper, great, and Rachel is talking to Dr. Cal, or Pastor Cal. Did I call him Pastor Cal? Dr. Cal? Ooh, child, I'm sorry if I did. Pastor Cal. Anyways, so Jose is talking to Dr. Pepper, and he's basically, Dr. Pepper, like the soda. I'm sorry. Anyway. Y'all, I haven't had a soda in months, y'all. Forgive me. Anyways, so Dr. Pepper and Jose are talking, and he's just like, you know, you guys have matched us great. We are perfect together. Everything is rainbow and sunshines and rainbows pooping out of unicorns, and, you know, like, just all the fluff, right, to try to derail his bullshit that he did a couple episodes ago. And he's just like, listen, I just want to know, what can I do? Because, you know, I asked for an independent woman, but, you know, she's too independent for me. And I just need to know what the middle ground is. And she was like, listen, Jose, you're controlling. Okay? You are controlling. And you just need to learn how to step back, okay? Not look at the lenses through not look at the world through your lenses all the time, but look at the world through your partner's lenses as well, because she's right too. So just because you've gone out and you've accomplished these things don't mean that's the only way to do it. So you're gonna have to try to look at things in her perspective, which I love that aspect, because that's absolutely right. Like, everything is not done one way. And I think that has been Jose's hang up, because listen, he thinks, okay, because I've gotten this done, I got 2 houses paid off, I did this, I did that, I have this, I have that. This is the only way that this can get done. So you need to just trust my way. But it undermines Rachel as an individual and as an adult. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's figuring her life out too. So I'm glad that Dr. Pepper put that out on blast about that, because, sir. Anyways, so then he says that he's scared that his wife is a runner, and she's scared that if something happens, or when they go through the thick of it, she's gonna run. And I'm like, sir, didn't you lock her out? Didn't you tell her to get the fuck out? Right? He said that, right? Am I missing something? Or what we doing? Because what? Like, I was so confused at that point, because I'm like, you put her out. You told her to get out. You locked her out. There is no way that I will be coming back to that. I would want to leave too. Because if you are capable of putting me out, talking to me like that, that means you don't care about my safety and you don't care about me. So she should be worried that it's going to happen to her again, versus you being worried that she's gonna leave when things get tough, you know? And I don't like that they flash back those scenes when she left, when she was telling him that she was leaving, and when she was at the winery, because first of all, two separate occasions, but that first one was very valid to leave, and they shouldn't be trying to continue on a relationship that's so toxic, because I don't see this lasting. I feel like it's gonna come to another toxic moment where somebody's gonna have to leave. Like, it's just not healthy. It's not healthy. So Dr. Pepper basically says, listen, to remedy that, you need to ask Rachel what she needs from you so that she can trust you. I think that's fair. And she also said, listen, she's seen your anger, so it's going to be hard to try to get her to trust you. That's valid too, because now she doesn't know if she makes another mistake, if you're going to pop off and essentially put her out, especially since she's moving in your house. Like, y'all, I don't want that for Rachel. I don't want Mr. Napoleon syndrome with Rachel, because he has a angry, like, demeanor about himself. Like, the controlling and anger characteristics of Jose is just, it's a perfect storm, if you ask me. So we get to the scene where Rachel is talking to Pastor Cal about, her relationship with Jose, and she's just like, listen, Jose is the man for me. He's the man for me. Okay, God made that man for me. And I'm like, okay. She wants to know what she can do for Jose, because he seems to be doing everything and he doesn't ask for anything back. He doesn't ask her of anything. He just wants to do everything. And Pastor Cal is just like, yeah, that over time can kind of stir up some resentment. So now is the time to start asking those questions. She also asked about getting locked out. She was like, she doesn't want that type of situation to happen again. And she wants to know what she can do moving forward. Rachel, there's nothing you can do moving forward. That man did that to be spiteful and vindictive. And he just showed you your trailer of what your life is gonna look like if you do something that he feels is disrespectful. So get ready. The ride is coming. It's gonna happen again. So you better have you a backup plan. But Pastor Cal keeps, or he's saying like, well, you can look at it like that, and he was locking you out because he may have some insecurities or something mental that he's dealing with, and you guys need to get to the, to the root of that problem so he doesn't do that to you again. And I'm just like, no. Yes, he has a mental issue, but no, they should not get down to the bottom of that. Jose needs to get down to the bottom of that because clearly something has happened to where he feels like he needs to have all this control over somebody to where he can threaten their livelihood or, where they're gonna live. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, they don't need to get to the root of that. I was just like, okay, Pastor Cal, you kind of doing it for me this episode. Now I'm like it. So Jose and Rachel get together and they actually, stick to their assignment. And he asks about, what's going to happen if things get tough. Are you going to leave? She asks about, listen, what are your triggers? And he basically tells her, I need to communicate that I need to cool off because I can get disrespectful, essentially. And I need to communicate that first so that that I need to kind of walk it off before we have a conversation. I like that dialogue, but because of his actions, I don't believe it. I don't believe he'll follow through. I feel like Jose is still doing and saying what Rachel wants to see and hear. So I'm just like, But Rachel says, you have my full trust. And I'm like, what? Okay, before we get to the next couple, I just want to ask people who have been in relationships, who are in relationships, who's been married, whatever. Do you put your full on trust in a person, in your partner? Like everything, every aspect of your life. Do you put your full trust in your partner? I don't think that that's practical because we're human. And we're not, how can I put it? We're not going to follow through or show up in every single way, right? So I don't feel like you should put all of your trust in one person. You know what I'm saying? So when Rachel said that, I was just like, what are you doing? I feel like everybody's tired of talking about Brett and Ryan because it's the same thing every episode. Like, I'm not even about to go through all the notes because it's literally the same thing. Brett meets with Pastor Cal, Ryan meets with Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper tells Ryan, you need to be more vocal about how you feel and put the effort in. Pastor Cal is telling Brett, you need to tell him how you feel and you need to start asking uncomfortable questions. Like, you need to know where y'all are going. Brett, she gets defensive. Yeah, I know he's not attracted to me. I know. Okay, you know that, but you also are not asking him, hey, where are we going? What are we doing? Do you want to just be over? Do you want to be done with this? Like, you need to ask him these things so you can stop wasting your time. You know what I'm saying? When Brett and Ryan get together, because Ryan is telling Dr. Pepper, I'm going to put forth effort. I'm going to do it. From here on out. And I'm like, sir, you don't even believe that. You don't even believe that. But Go off, Brian. Anyways, they meet and they're asking each other about the situation, and Brett is like, it was about me. It wasn't anything about you. It was about me. And I'm like, that's a lie. Why are you lying? Like, what are you lying for? Tell him the truth and ask him, what are y'all gonna be doing moving forward? Do you want me or not? Do you want to try or not? Like, ask him and stop beating around the bush. And then Ryan is talking to Brett, and he's just like, Dr. Pepper said that, I need to be putting forth, more effort and to open up more. And Brett's like, yeah. And he's like, yeah. It didn't say anything. Was I the only one bothered by that scene? I was just like, so he just said all that to say nothing. Duly noted. So I'm reading these notes, y'all. I could tell I was sick because I was getting straight to the point. I was just getting straight to the point. Anyway, so Michaela and Zach. Michaela is meeting with Pastor Cal, and Zach is meeting with Dr. Pepper. First of all, starting the scene of Michaela and Zach, he's just shady towards her, and I really don't like it. He's just like on his diary cam, and he's like, yeah, this is my wife being a bum. And I'm like, even if you were trying to be funny, you missed the mark. And you could tell Michaela was super annoyed, because I would have been like, even if we're just playing, don't call me a bum. You know what I'm saying? So Michaela's meeting with Pastor Cal, and he's asking her how everything is going. And, out of these 4 weeks, one of them has been great. She's just saying, like, she wants to know what, not Happy Zach. She wants to know what marriage looked like for Zach before he got married. Like, she wants to know what that was for him, because he's not happy. And she wants happy Zach back. And, Pastor Cal is just like, that's a great question. You should definitely ask. But he's just like, you should help him get to his happy place. She was like, not that grown ass adult. I'm not helping him. Like, she was basically saying, like, I don't want to be the source of his happiness, which I get. Like, Whoopi Goldberg has a book called If They Say You're My Everything, Run. And I think that was the take that Michaela was going after. Like, I don't want to contribute so much to his happiness to where I'm his source, because that is a very unhealthy place to be in. And I understand what Pastor Cal was saying too. Listen, if I'm going to be in a relationship with someone, yes, we should be happy, but we should both be making each other happy on top of that, because I don't want to get in a relationship where somebody doesn't want to make me happy. That sounds horrible, but I'm not putting the whole responsibility on them to, okay, well, today's Tuesday, make me happy. Go. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I get both points, and I don't think Pastor Cal was understanding what she was saying, because she was just like, no, like, I'm not doing it. So, I just want Michaela to see that, but with somebody else, because that's a wrap on Zach. Okay, it's a wrap on Zach. Anyways, okay, so Dr. Pepper and Zach meet, and she's basically asking him, how he's feeling. I'm sorry, I have to keep referring back to my notes. I have my tablet, so I'm trying to make sure I get this right. Anyways, but Zach is basically saying, like, he feels like they're choosing to make it work and it's not meant to be. And I think that is what, like, Ryan and Johnny they want things to be meant to be, kind of like, oh, it was supposed to work, like, it's supposed to be like a fairy tale, right? And it's just like, okay, even if that was the case, right? Like, let me play devil's advocate. Even if that was the case, if a fairy tale was a fairy tale, right? And they met in a fairy tale way, and it was, he saw her at a coffee shop and he just knew that was his wife and everything worked out. As the years go by, okay, and you're in a relationship with another human being, you are going to have to choose to make it work if that is what you want, because that is a relationship. A relationship is supposed to work, and you're supposed to work in your relationship to make it work. So I was just like, oh, Zach, you gotta stop with this unrealistic expectation of this was supposed to be a fairy tale, because it's not. I think that Zach heightened up the idea of marriage so much that getting into this marriage has let him down all the way. And it's sad to see. It's sad to watch him kind of spiral, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, Dr. Pepper basically tells him, listen, you shouldn't look at it as meant to be, but as an opportunity, because it is. It's an opportunity to make things better, to shape and mold your relationship like you want it to be. And it still seems like that's not getting to him, but you know, it's Zach. He has a whole lot of growing up to do. So he starts to get super emotional when he's talking to her, because he says that he's a perfectionist. And he put all of that on Michaela. And in this moment, y'all, I was pissed, because I'm like, you don't know how much you've triggered Michaela, because you have this known fact about yourself and you didn't even open up to tell her that. So y'all are going through all of this and you didn't even tell her, you know? So she's going through her session not even knowing that this man is a perfectionist, you know? So she never had a chance. If she was wrong or not, she never had a chance. And that is what I mean by his immaturity. He doesn't know himself, or he doesn't know how to communicate about himself to other people. He doesn't know how to vocalize it or something to where he's giving somebody a fair shot. You know what I'm saying? Keeping something like that away from a person is, you're not even giving them a choice. You're not even giving them a choice. They're just going in with their eyes, you know, wide open, or so they think. And they can't even, like, they can't even make an impression with you, because you've already had your mind made up, because you think it's supposed to go this way. And I'm like, see, Zach is not ready. Zach is not, he's not ready. Zach also mentioned that he feels like if they continue to go in the momentum that they're going now, that will influence his answer to say yes during decision day. Don't y'all think that's like key information to know? Don't you think? Right? Okay. We'll get there. Okay, so Zach and Michaela, they meet up after their sessions and they're talking about how everything went. And Zach opens up about his perfectionist characteristic. And Michaela asks her question about what marriage looks like for Zach. He basically gives her the answer of a fairy tale. You know what I'm saying? A fairy tale. And, you know, oh, it's me and my wife and all these kids in the house and we cooking breakfast and all this, you know, just things that he's conjured up. You know what I'm saying? And not saying that's unrealistic, but it's just like he just painted this very perfect picture. Anyways, excuse me. And Michaela says that, you know, her ideal of marriage is, you know, a very romantic marriage, you know. So they're talking about moving forward and things like that. And Michaela's just like, listen, you know, I wish I wasn't so hesitant. And he's like, for real? Like, you're hesitant? It's like, why are you so shocked? Why are you so shocked? Because y'all had one good week out of 4? She's like, yeah, like, it's because your actions don't line up with your words. And not only that, it's because he said he was doubtful about a future with her. Like, do y'all know how damaging that sounds? Like, it'll it'll discourage you from moving forward, because it's like, well, what the hell am I doing? And I think that is where Michaela is with all of this. Like, you don't even see a future with me, you know? So he's just like, well, you know, I'll be more cognizant of my, you know, my actions moving forward. Great. The next scene they get to is after the volleyball thing, which we'll talk about. But they get home from the volleyball thing and they're having an argument. The argument was so stupid. But this is what happens when you are not honest about your feelings and you play nice. This is what happens. The shit starts to blow up in a very different way, when all this time it was because they weren't honest about how they were truly feeling. They just swept all of those problems up under the rug and they decided to play nice. Anyways, they're arguing because they both said, if today was decision day, what would you say? They both said no. Michaela said, well, if that's the case, let's sleep in different rooms tonight. He feels like that's going to hurt their progress. Now, let's circle back to what I said earlier. Zach told Dr. Pepper if they felt like they were going to continue that same momentum, that would influence his decision to say yes on decision day. Why wouldn't you lead with that if you truly felt like that? When she asked the question about if decision day was today, I would have led with, listen, if we are to continue with this momentum on decision day, it would be yes. But right now, no, because we have a lot to figure out. You know, that is how I would have put that if I was really wanting to pursue a relationship with her. But he's not trying to. He's not trying to, y'all. He's just saving face. So of course he ends his diary camera because they're steadily getting into it. And she picks her camera up and she's like, listen, this is what happened. I asked him, but you know, what the scenario is. And he's just like, I don't feel like we should sleep in separate rooms because we both said that we would say no. We both said we would say no. She said, yeah, we would say no today on decision day. I don't know. But I feel like we could just sleep in separate rooms. Now, listen, I'm all about space, especially if we're not seeing eye to eye. Or, you know what I'm saying? Or we need to figure some things out. And I wish she would have said it like that. Like, hey, man, since this is what we've come up with, let's just sleep in separate rooms tonight so we can both have time apart to really think about what it is that we want out of this relationship or what we can do moving forward. Let's just grab some space. Like, there's a way to talk about it. And I feel like she's not the best communicator as well. So I was just like, this is stupid. This is a stupid argument. So because she said that they wanted to sleep in separate rooms, he goes, well, I'm going home. And so she tops his and goes, well, I'm moving out. So they're doing tit for tat. And it's like, why? Why do tit for tat? Like, why would you go and do tit for tat instead of saying, okay, let's just sleep in separate rooms? You know, like it was a whole lot. It was that, break up. Just break up. Okay. Okay. I had to get a sip of my water because, you know, Bao and Johnny, exhausting. Literally, like my body went tired when I read their names on my tablet because I'm like, let's do it. Okay, so starting with Bao and Johnny. Johnny comes in from shooting pool with Ryan. And he's just like, you know, Ryan is the last person I should have talked to because, you know, we're really good in our relationship right now. And, you know, he's not. So, you know, I shouldn't have talked to him about anything. And I'm just like, pump the brakes. Pump the brakes, Johnny. Anyway, so they're talking and he immediately goes in and he's just like, listen, you know, things have been great, you know, this past week because, you know, Bao was trying to plan dates and all that shit. And, when he said to Ryan that she was trying too hard, I wanted to come through my screen and slap the shit out of him. Because what do you want her to do? You basically told the girl she's not done anything last week. Now you're saying that she's doing too much? Johnny doesn't want that girl. But anyways, he's going in and he's just like, listen, I feel like our foundation is not good. We don't have a foundation because it's lacking trust, it's lacking friendship, it's lacking this, it's lacking that. Like, he had his spreadsheet ready for her before bed. And I'm like, y'all can't even go to bed on, like, without having a dissertation about y'all's relationship? Okay. So he was just like, so you agree, no? And she's just like, no, I don't agree. Like, I don't feel like right now a friendship is something that we need to work on, because they're still trying to get like emotional intimacy and all that kind of stuff that she was saying. I feel like when you're starting a relationship organically, yes, work on a friendship because it's important. Because you want to like that person. You want to like them. And I don't think right now it's conducive for them to work on this friendship because of how they started their relationship. You know what I'm saying? So I just felt like Johnny was just looking for another reason to have an issue with Bao. And when she disagreed with him, he immediately, of course, y'all already know the Johnny rage it's a coming. And he immediately is just like pissed, and he gets up and she's just like, Johnny, we're just talking. Like, what are you? He's bow, 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 all in the mirror, just like he can't believe she's disagreeing with him again. And it's like, every time you have a conversation, it does not mean it has to turn into an argument, especially if they don't agree with you. You can agree to disagree, or you can look at it from her perspective, but you don't have to turn it into conflict, So that was very annoying. But anyways, Bao meets with Pastor Cal, and Bao says that she's checking out of her marriage. I don't blame her. It seems exhausting. I'm exhausted and I'm not in the relationship. Like, I'm exhausted for her because he's a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, he is a whole lot emotional. It's like another child. And it's like you can just never do enough for this child. So he just keeps wanting more and more and more and more and more and more. And it's just still not enough. And I don't envy Bao. I don't envy Bao at all. I don't. So Bao says that she feels like Johnny is 80% out of the marriage and 20% in. And she feels like him bringing up the foundation thing wasn't out for him. I agree with that. Because it seems like he's trying to bring up more and more things to argue about so he can see, we're not compatible. See, she doesn't agree with me. See, we need to, So I agree with that. Pastor Cal wants Bao to ask Johnny what his ideal marriage is. And I'm like, why? You've heard what his ideal marriage is. It's not Bao. He has a person in mind that he thinks can live up to his expectation. It's not Bao. So why does she need to ask a question that she essentially already knows the answer to? Is not going to bring up any type of dialogue that's going to help her win Johnny over. And who wants to? Anyways, I'm like, Pastor Cal, Pastor Cal basically tells Bao, listen, keep it light. Keep it at level 1 conversations. And you let Johnny put in the effort. If he wants this to work, let him bring in the serious conversations that need to be had. And I'm like, okay. Johnny intentionally brings in these serious conversations so that he can degrade her, so he can talk down to her because they don't agree on everything, right? It's not that she's bringing up serious conversations. He's bringing the serious conversations. And when they don't go the way that he wants them to go, he blows up. And Bao is just like, I don't understand why I have to keep getting cut down. You don't have to. You don't have to. I would tell him to leave and not come back. I would tell him that. Leave and don't come back until you know how to talk to me. Leave and don't come back until you know how to treat me. Leave and don't come back until you are ready to fully commit to this process. But you're not fully committed to the process because I'm not your ideal character, or I'm not your ideal wife. And it's so funny how in the beginning he was so excited about getting to know her and wanting to do these things, and it seems like as soon as they had sex, that's when the anger came out. You know, like that is when the anger, the patience flew out the door. There was no understanding. He was just ready to go in on her. So I'm just like, what happened? What happened there? So I feel like when Dr. Pepper and Johnny were talking, I don't feel like she really gave it to him like she could have. Johnny did admit that when they have like arguments, he doesn't try to fix the arguments. He tries to get to the root of them. And I'm like, when you immediately after you have your tantrum shut down and you leave. Like, when do you ever try to get to the root of anything? Bao is the one who's trying to figure out, okay, what happened? Where did this go? Why are we here? I don't even know where I stopped, y'all. I had a little bit of technical difficulties, so I'm so sorry. But Johnny just opens fire on Bao because, you know, every time he enters the room and if anybody knows Bao, he's going to start, you know, going off about her and, you know, talking down on her. So Dr. Pepper basically says that they need to stop trying to keep score and have a more structured conversation. This advice would be helpful if Johnny was actually on board with the conversation. So Bao and Johnny, they both meet up and they're talking about their session, and Bao basically tells him, you know, listen, I'm not gonna be disrespected. I will be respected. And I'm not gonna be talked to the way that you've been talking to me. So he gives this weak ass apology, and then after that, in the same breath, still insults the girl because she's standing up for herself. And basically tells her, like, I wasn't even attracted to you. Like, don't you think we would still be dating, you know, these 15 years? No, I don't think that, because there's something wrong with you, Johnny. But that's just my opinion. It's like he just goes out of his way to make sure that he's putting her down. And it's a problem. Again, we are watching an abusive relationship happen, and they're allowing this. Make it make sense for me. So all the couples go to the volleyball game, and they're playing sand volleyball. Y'all, they all break out into their own little groups, and before that, Bao shows up in a cheerleading outfit, and of course he walks up like oh yeah, she did this for me, and he gives her a hug, and she's just like, does he know who he hugging? Basically, like why is he doing that? But it's because of the cheerleading outfit, you know, because he's just so sex deprived and sex driven, you know, like. Anyways, but they all go into their little breakout groups, and Bao is basically saying, like, she feels like she's in the same boat as Brett, and Johnny is mean. Johnny is basically saying, you know, I haven't been happy in a long time, and they're basically playing tit for tat. And it's just like, you've not been happy in a long time. Like, you act like y'all have been together for years. It's been a month. And if you're not happy, it's because you are contributing to your own unhappiness. But see, Johnny is that type. Johnny is the type that Michaela was talking about when she said, I'm not going to be responsible for your happiness. Johnny is the type that goes, it's Tuesday, make me happy. I'm waiting. He is that type. And if he, like Bao says, if he continues to go in this route, he's gonna always have failed relationships, or he's always gonna be unhappy because he won't even take control of his own happiness, you know? So I was just like, Johnny, trash. Anyways, so Zach has a Zoom meeting with his brothers, and Zach is just like, you know, Michaela's not gonna be with us, and his brothers are like, you talked to Michaela? And he's just like, no, but she canceled. If you haven't talked to her, how do you know she canceled? Okay. So he's talking to his brothers and he's basically telling them what happened, but he's telling them what happened in his favor. He's not like being forthright about his part. And he's basically just like, you know, I just told her that, what did he say? I just told her that I'm just gonna go home because she wants to sleep in different bedrooms, and she took all the seasoning and she moved out. He just he built the story in the way to where he doesn't look like he played a part in it and he's a victim. And I'm like, okay, Zach, go off. And of course his brothers are just like, that is so rude and childish, and she's the worst, you know? And it's like, I can't blame the brothers for feeling like that, but I would hope that they would be more mature enough to know that there's two sides to the story and the truth. But they're just rushing to his side, and I'm just like, why are y'all so quick to get on this woman? Like, I'm so... Okay, so anyways, I'm looking forward to next week's video. I really feel like it's gonna be explosive, and I don't think y'all are going to like what I have to say about next week too, because I'm not mad at Michaela, and I'm not team Michaela. I'm not team Brett. I mean, not Brett. I'm not team Zach. I'm not team Brett. I'm not team Ryan. I'm not team Bao. I'm not team Johnny. I'm not team Michaela. I'm not team Mirla. I'm not team Jose. I'm not team Rachel. I'm not. I'm just looking at it from my point of view, and giving my perspective, my opinion. So, you know, y'all let me know how y'all like this review. And drop it down in the comments. Again, do not forget on your way out to subscribe if you haven't already. And have a great rest of your night, day, evening, morning, or whatever. Peace. Cute. $40. Girl, what you think it is? Cute. It's all or nothing. It's all or nothing. Get it out. 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 Okay. Come on, you can't start it like this all the time. Okay. I don't know why I'm so silly today.